Well, hello again. This is the 5th of March 2022, and I'm afraid it got me in my painting gear today because I have been painting. Today's topic is musical anhedonia, which I'm not sure is actually an autistic trait. This is an autism vlog, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. It's one of those things that sounds like it or to be an autistic thing, but I'm not actually sure if it is counted as one or not. Certainly some neurotypical people have it, and a lot of autistic people actually really enjoy music and get a lot out of it, and some actually talk of having particularly strong experiences when listening to it. Anyway, this is musical anhedonia. What is musical? It is when you don't really feel any kind of emotional response to music. It's not necessarily that you dislike music. I mean, some of us do find it very annoying. I'd say to me it's maybe 90% of the time it's more of a distraction than anything else. It's just this kind of noise that's going on that doesn't really mean anything in particular to me. Occasionally I'll come across a song or a particular artist or genre that I find interesting in some way. Usually it's because of the lyrics. The lyrics kind of speak to me as a piece of poetry. Occasionally there'll be, a certain instrument or riff or something that I sort of find particularly euphonous. Yeah, the overwhelming majority of the time it's just some sort of noise going on that can take or leave, really. There are songs that I particularly dislike, I mean, mostly because of the lyrics just being a bit stupid. Quite often there'll be, if it's very loud, and I strongly dislike loud music. You never get me in a nightclub or at a rave or anything like that. I'm really not into the loud music thing. I don't get the appeal of that at all. Obviously, a lot of people really like it, spend a lot of money on being around loud music, a lot of time putting their music on very loud and having apparently a very good time listening to it. But yeah, I'm not one of those people. I'd say for a long time, until I actually realised that musical anhedonia is a thing with a name that other people experience, my general assumption was that, when someone is particularly into a particular artist or a particular style of music, they're sort of buying into an image, it's a bit sort of pretentious. But yeah, apparently it's me that's doing it wrong. It's perfectly healthy and normal to really enjoy music. I don't get it, particularly. I couldn't explain why people are so into music as a whole. Why people find it important to do things like follow the pop charts or, find out about musical theory and things. I mean, I do have some understanding of musical theory because, when I was a child, we did music lessons at school, and then, I did piano lessons for a few years when I was a kid. And not because I was particularly interested in doing piano or anything, just because, my mum wanted me to learn an instrument, so sort of ended up doing piano because that's an instrument. I don't know. Again, I had very little interest in making music myself. Yeah, I actually had zero interest in making music myself. And yeah, and never had any interest in either pop music or any kind of alternative music or anything like that. And it's so much a kind of opening question when someone's trying to start a conversation. Oh, so what kind of music do you like? I don't know. I don't really listen to music. What? why are you asking me that? And again, it's one of these things that it's a sort of small talk question that I just can't really answer, because there isn't a music that I particularly like. It's overwhelmingly, it's just noise to me. Again, it's I wouldn't say I dislike music. If I go to someone's house and they've got the radio on or whatever, I'm not going to ask them to turn it off or anything like that. If it's particularly loud, so loud enough to hurt my ears, I'll ask them to turn it down maybe. But yeah, I don't object to it particularly. But I do find that, whether I want to or not, I sort of end up listening to the music instead of doing anything else. It's very distracting, and it overrides a lot of other noises in the room. Yeah, I mean, even someone actually speaking to me, I'll find it sort of difficult to listen to what they're talking to if there's music on. I mean, not because I am interested in the music, but just because there's this noise going on in my ear that, is sort of jumbling up everything else. I understand the difference between good music and bad music. Is it kind of artistically? Again, if I say if I particularly appreciate a song, it's because of the words. Well, I can kind of tell the difference between music that's got some sort of artistic merit and music that is, just purely some sort of noise to dance to. But again, I wouldn't say I particularly want to listen to a particular kind of music more than another, or more than anything else. And I think it does become a problem, not so much because I can't get away from music, but because, everyone around me enjoys it. They want to put it on in the car, they want to talk about it, and I don't really have a lot to say about it. I mean, my husband is a really big music buff. He spends probably a couple of hours a day sat listening to music, and his music collection and his stereo system and everything, it takes up a room. He's heavily into it. It's a really big part of his life, and it's something that, as I say, I don't understand. I don't really get. I can't converse about. So I wouldn't say it's a cause of conflict or anything. It's something that I can't really enjoy with him. And again, it's like my mum enjoys going out to concerts and things, but again, that's something that doesn't really appeal to me. And when I was younger, she was always I felt like I was being sort of dragged along to these things because she wanted someone to go with, and I don't know if she necessarily thought that I would get something out of it or what, but yeah, she used to take me along to all these concerts and things, and I just find it boring. Maybe there'd be a few songs I knew that I'd sort of feel obliged to sing along to or something, or everybody's dancing. Have I got to do a dance? I don't know. Is this having a good time? I don't really know. But yeah, it's not something that I would spend money on. Going to a concert. I have occasionally in the past either bought or requested for birthdays and things CDs, because I've had a particular interest in one artist or one genre or something, and then played it repeatedly for a month or two, and then gone back to just preferring quiet. And then that's not something I can really explain. Again, it's mostly because of the lyrics, or sometimes because of the artist as a personality, and being interested in why particular people are popular or appeal to a certain demographic or whatever. I find that kind of thing quite interesting to sort of philosophise about. I don't think there was a particular moment in my life when I realised I was sort of different from the general population in this regard. When I was small, I sort of remember doing, music lessons at school and learning songs and things. And I don't know, did I enjoy it? Yeah, I suppose as much as anything else. It was just a lesson to me, really. You go along to school, you do your reading and writing and your maths and everything, and then you do a bit of music sometimes, and yeah, that's the way of things. And it's one of those sort of gradual things, as children are growing up, they start getting more interested in, pop music, and and then all the sort of alternative subculture type things come along, and someone's into punk or goth or whatever, and the music is a big part of that, and yeah, as I described earlier, as I thought it was just a sort of pretentious image, sort of buying into something, if you're not really sure what your personality is yet, you can always sort of dress up and put some music on and go, oh yes, this is me. And I never really felt the need to do that. I suppose I did for a time, because when I was maybe 13, 14, I started listening to the top 40 on the radio, watching Top of the Pops and stuff, because I knew there'd be a quiz on it when I got to school. It's one of those things that my classmates sort of found really, really funny, to come up and sort of ask me if I knew what all the members of Steps were called or something, and I'd not know, and they'd all laugh, or they'd make some sort of reference to some song that was popular at the time, and I'd not get it, and that'd be funny. Just the usual sort of thing. I mean, nothing particularly upsetting or whatever, but I did think, well, if I just listen to what's in the charts at the moment, they won't be able to do that. I'll be able to put them in the place. And then they all sort of got wise to the idea that, actually I did know some pop music trivia, and that was no longer funny. So they sort of found new ways of taking the piss out of me. So, I thought, well, I don't need to put myself through this anymore, and stop listening to the charts. So I do have a very narrow knowledge of pop music, just from that sort of late 90s era. I never put music on in my car, when I'm driving. I never feel the need. I don't put music on in the house particularly. Maybe sort of once or twice a decade I'll sort of get an urge to put something on other than just sitting in the quiet. But I mean, now I've got a child, I don't really notice the quiet anymore. Well, there isn't any quiet to notice particularly. He's always sort of charging round, entertaining himself. Oh, Mummy, play with me. Mummy, why is that there? Mummy, what's this called? Mummy, what's this? Why have you put that there? Why is that there? That's his big question at the moment. Why is that there? It's got to go somewhere, hasn't it? Why is my Lego in my bedroom? Well, that's where we keep your Lego. Yeah? Where do you want your Lego? Anyway, musical Anhedonia, yes. I don't know how common it is. I don't think anybody really knows how common it is, to be honest. It's one of those things that I think it doesn't really get much exposure and doesn't really get talked about particularly. Because probably because you don't really stand out all that much. Because musical taste is so varied anyway. If for someone's, I don't know, playing some rock music or some classical music or rap music or any particular kind of music, there'll always be somebody in the room who dislikes it or is indifferent to it at least. So to not be particularly into any kind of music is sort of invisible, really. There'll always be something that you're not into. But yeah, if somebody actually asks you what music do you like, and you say, I don't listen to music, then it becomes a bit weird. So I think it does, and it's easy to cover up as well. You know, if you know, you don't want to be seen as being a bit weird, you just say, oh, you know, a bit of everything, or you just name an artist that you have some knowledge of who sort of sounds reasonably acceptable. You know, like, oh, I like the Beatles, you know. Oh, yeah, okay. And it's not something that particularly gives you a lot of problems in life, you know, other than, you know, that sort of difficulty in having a particular conversation. There's lots of people don't play an instrument. Lots of people, for whatever reason, don't particularly enjoy going to nightclubs or concerts. You know, it's something that you can just sort of limp through life without really realising is a big difference about you individually to a large extent. And it was only when I read a magazine article about it a few years ago that I actually realised it was a thing. You know, it wasn't just another of those things that, you know, everybody else was just sort of going along with. You know, some sort of national running joke that everyone's in on except me. You know, oh, we all like music, don't we? Oh, we all love a good sing and a good dance. You know, they really do enjoy singing and dancing and playing instruments and things. Yes, as I say, I don't know if it is particularly an autistic thing. It sounds like one of those things that could be. Though, yeah, as that there are some people I've talked to who say they have particularly strong reactions to music. Could be one of those things that, you know, you often have sort of extremes, and autistic people then end up at the extreme ends of the music enjoying spectrum. I think I'm just going to repeat myself if I go on. I'm going to wrap it up. 23 minutes talking about something that I'm not interested in. That's pretty good going. If anyone's got any comments or would like any clarifications or anything, please pop it in the comments. And I will see you in the next one.